It's a little version of me, Alan. I want you to have it. Also 2 Apple Jacks here that I didn't want. Once upon a time, confetti was in high school color guard. There is proof. I was in color guard 3 years. I was a flag captain. Dante's Inferno was a show performed by Northmont High School in 1997 in the WGI circuit. They placed 5th in the Scholastic World Division at the WGI World Finals, hosted in Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out Arizonans. You excited about the new proposed name for the Loop 202? It's crazy stuff, passed in the Senate. If you do or have done color guard, a veteran has mentioned this to you with a spark in their eyes. Normally when I review media or like a performance, I summarize the plot, but I can't really do that with this. I already know you're just gonna go watch the thing first and come back, or you've seen it already, so the link is in the description. It's 5 minutes long. Just go do your homework and then come back. Dante's Inferno as a title refers to Inferno, which is part 1 of Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy. American high schools tend to make you read part of this. It recounts the tale of the author himself in fictional form, Dante, traveling through the 9 circles of hell as guided by the ancient Roman poet Virgil. There are like charts made to describe how Alighieri's hell works, which sinners end up where, what kind of torture is their punishment, etc. So according to the show designer, the audience was meant to be Dante and Virgil, and they're observing the suffering of souls in hell, which is the performance. So for the show itself, I'm going to discuss the structure of this show based around the soundtrack. The first part of this show's soundtrack is basically unintelligible ambiance and sounds of people in distress. It's a really hard thing to perform to logistically because there's no like apparent tempo. The way you make it work is you just practice counting over and over and over until the tempo becomes second nature. Like you can't unhear it once you do. I've been in shows where the tempo was not apparent like at all during certain parts, and the coach would just like count during those parts for like the first several months of us practicing, or they would use a metronome. The show starts with a lot of individual acts happening per performer. There's a huge set piece prop that forms like a cave-like structure that the performers stand on top of or hide under. They kind of prototyped this in their Vietnam show the year before, so they had it like nailed down by this point. The first flag hit is really cool with people spinning on top of this giant structure. Like it really helps the guard feel huge. The choreo language is frightening, but in a good way. Like a lot of aggressive movements, but also during some parts there's like a zombie-like stagger. The red silks that they use have like holes in them, like there's tattering, which I can imagine is really, really annoying for catching air like a sail, but they handle them great. When the music finally does appear, it's very rapid and orchestral. James Horner and Elliot Goldenthal wrote a lot of the music, and there's a lot of sound bites from horror movies in this show. Unbearable, isn't it? The suffering of strangers, the agony of friends. That's a quote. It's from Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. We have eternity to know the flesh is from Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. Nowhere to run this time. Nowhere to escape. From Hellraiser Bloodline. I legitimately thought that all of the quotes were going to be from the Hellraiser franchise, but there are some quotes from The Omen and The Exorcist. I haven't watched those, so I didn't recognize them. And the ending music is I, Zombie by White Zombie. So the elephant in the room is, if you've heard of this show before, this show features a stunt where one of the performers with themselves.
No escape.
No.
This effect was actually done by one of the coaches, Jenny, not a student, which is rare. It's rare that you see a coach like spinning with the students. It must have been a liability thing where they just weren't willing to risk it. And it's achieved by a harness around the chest and shoulders. There's not actually a danger of being hung for real. You can kind of see it in the posture. You can see that something is like supporting her, even though the image is kind of blurry, like you can still tell. The subject matter of the show alone is like potentially controversial, but this stunt spawned years of rumors among the color guard folk. So the rumors that went around about Dante's Inferno were like any of the following. Northmont High was banned from performing in the WGI circuit for X amount of years. Northmont High was banned from performing forever. The coach was fired from the school. The coach was banned by WGI. The guard was shut down by the school. I actually think with your guys' help, we could start a new rumor. My new proposed made-up rumor about Dante's Inferno, the 1997 color guard show, is that it was actually a satanic ritual put on by these students to enrapture and hypnotize the audience into joining their cult. You see most of the evidence of these old rumors in the old comments under this YouTube video, and a few of the replies being like, no, that's not true. I go here. That's not true. The most realistic comment I saw was someone being like, I go to this school and the only thing that happened was the principal yelled at this coach for thrusting this show upon the reputation of the school. And frankly, that's the reality, I believe. I think that was the only consequence of this show for anybody. This school already had an edgy reputation from what I understand, particularly the Vietnam show the year prior, the one I mentioned earlier that contributed to that or was part of it. You can only watch that Vietnam show through this guy's reaction channel now because the original was blocked on YouTube due to music copyright. I think that this show, the way it's talked about, gives the impression that WGI has tried to sweep it under the rug and they're embarrassed or ashamed of it. But actually, in 2017, there was an article released on their website featuring the director Tracy Wooten and the show designer Joe Souders, which is crazy, and I've been referencing it for information for this script. So here are some fun facts about the costuming and set design from that article because I don't know where else to put them. The costumes were just like a plain gray Lycra base, and then they took them to a local artist who individually airbrushed every single one of them by hand. So each uniform was unique, and that's incredible, and you can actually see it if you watch the video. You can identify the differences. In fact, the floor and the entire set probably were like painted by hand. That's just how it was in the 90s, I guess, but god, like hand-painted floors are so rare these days. The floors are like the tarp they perform on, by the way. The makeup was a blood gel, like dripping from the eyes, and the hair was like a wet look gel, which I had to use, and I still have 5 bottles of it. I remember thinking when watching this show for the first time that combined with the undead visuals of the costumes and the set, the white rifles almost read as bones, like they're spinning bones in the underworld. Now, this is why I think this show placed 5th. The spinning needed a bit more cleaning. This flag hit from around 2 minutes, you can really see it. I can't even blame them because spinning on top of this tall prop thing is really scary. The large sabers were not clean. Look at this saber toss, dude. If you're not familiar with color guard or like don't believe me, here is footage of the guard that placed 1st that year, Bishop Kearney. This was also their 97 show. This was 2nd place, Center Grove. Note that all of the flag silks are doing the same thing. All of the weapons are doing the same thing at the same time. World-class guards should be like this. Like if you're placing in the top 3, it's 50% because your weapons and your flags were perfectly in sync. You don't get there if it's messy. Certain parts when I was watching Dante's Inferno, I was like, geez, I guess color guard has evolved a lot since 97. But reading about it on forums, I get the impression that it was also considered a little messy back then. So I don't know, it's still a world-class guard. These people are talented and deserved their win. This show came out 2 years before Columbine, and honestly, I cannot imagine them doing this show post-Columbine because that tragedy spawned like a mini wave 2 of the satanic panic just because those kids decided to wear trench coats that day and they owned a Marilyn Manson CD. Columbine placed a huge target on like goths and freaks after it happened, and I imagine a show like this would have been inflammatory just because it was like kind of satanic maybe if you thought about it. Though I really think of Dante's Inferno, or Inferno I guess, as like a pro-Christian text, like a warning text. Inferno is a warning to not sin. It's not like pro-hell, but this performance doesn't really read as a warning. It just reads as, look at this cool undead imagery. A lot of Reddit comments seem surprised that they even pulled this off back then, but according to the WGI article, the parents were like super supportive and active in raising funds. The dark shows today, I've noticed, are all about like major current disasters or violence or current world issues. I think that sometimes this is in bad taste, or like the visuals will be so on the nose that it's almost kind of funny and you can't take it seriously. I'd be very interested to see a guard try a dark biblical theme like this again, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. The scariest show I ever saw was Shelter in Place by Onyx in 2019. The show is about a tornado, and the pre-show opens with this robotic warning voice warning the audience to shelter in place, specifically in the Dayton, Ohio arena where the finals are held, so it's venue specific, like for that day only.
University of Dayton Arena. Move to a basement or interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, avoid windows, and protect yourself from flying debris. You are advised to shelter in place.
If you've seen the show in person, the setup is also a performance, like a dancer menacingly scatters papers and debris across the floor. The white picket fences on the silks, which is a motif that is usually associated with suburban calm, instead reads as alarming. Like, the white on the black is abrasive. The show is set to Wine Dark Sea by John Mackey. I hope the YouTube comment I read wasn't lying. The choreography is chaos. The whole ensemble for any show is usually split anyway, but you really feel it in this show. Like, no one ever seems to be doing anything at the same time for even a moment unless you really pay attention. There's like pockets of synchronicity, and when there is, they nail it. It's in sync. The farther into the show you get, the more you see unified choreo. But even then, there are a lot of ripples in the choreo. Like, this person does this and the next in line and the next and the next and the next. This show is designed so that you have a different experience every time you watch it, I think. You can't absorb everything at once, so you just need to pick somebody to watch, and the chances are they're going to be doing something crazy. The solos people have in this show are often like stunts. One person slips their foot under the strap of their rifle and spins it around their ankle. Right before the ending flag hit, one person does consecutive backflips. At one point, a dancer with a deer skull mask emerges with planks of wood on their feet to slap violently across the floor really loudly. My personal favorite is at 3 minutes and 15 seconds-ish of this show. There's a dancer at the front of the floor, like feet from the audience, and they open a pack of gum and unwrap each piece one by one and put it into their mouth one by one until they're chewing the whole pack of gum. And they finish the last 4 minutes of the show like that, like with the whole pack of gum in their mouth. They just take a flag and they go. The show ends with the entire guard folding the floor on top of themselves. Like, they take one end and pull it over themselves, and as they do this, it's revealed that there's a transparent window in the floor where you can see them underneath in a panic trying to get out as one of the members rolls on top of the folded floor in metallic purple underwear. I think they actually got penalties for the way that show was set up, like all the stuff everywhere, the timing of the setup, and I suspect the person that was in underwear, but I don't remember what the regulations were. But I think that they knew and didn't care. Anyway, this is not a color guard channel. Don't come here looking for more, because this is probably it. But this is a weird stuff channel, so if you like My Little Pony or something. When I started this channel, my hair was so short, and now it's like, it's all the way down here. Okay, bye!
Oh my fucking god, that was my fucking hell mortgage on my hell house! Fuck!
This place hasn't changed a bit.